cutting felt and fabric with my Brother ScanNCut to make an adorable Christmas wreath and garland. That is exactly what we're doing today. My name is Courtney Douthat. This is AllBrands After Hours. Let's do this. We're continuing the Christmas in July series, and I'm loving this. So what I want to make today is an adorable Christmas wreath using felt and fabric. If you guys have never cut felt with your Brother ScanNCut, it's so easy to do and so satisfying. So I had this leftover fabric from Christmas and this really nice plaid and this felt, and I was thinking, what can I do with this? What can I make out of this? And then I thought, the cutest wreath ever. Not so Courtney, where are you going to get this design? Well, I'm going to use a design already in my ScanNCut. Let's jump to my machine. All right, so let's go to pattern. And I know that the shape that I want is a basic shape, so I'm going to go into my shapes. Now, there are Christmas designs in your ScanNCut, so don't forget that if you do come here, right here where this little rocking horse is, these are additional designs, and that's where your Christmas designs live. They're adorable. So there even is a wreath one, but there's tons of different holiday designs in there. So don't forget that that's where those are. All right, so let's go back, because again, I want my basic shapes. And the shape I'm looking for is more of like a diamond with a curve. So we're going to scroll down till I see it. All right, there she is. So I don't know what you would call it. Tell me, what would you call this shape? So I'm going to select this one right here. Now I'm thinking like leaves, like petals kind of things. And I know I want mine probably about 4 inches high. I want a pretty decent sized one. So I'm going to up the size. And if you notice, when I up the size of the height, that width changes. Now, sometimes it takes a second because the width can be a good size without having to change the height, but there it is. But you could always use this feature right here, which would let you lock one of them so the other one wouldn't. This is perfect. It's exactly what I want. So I'm gonna hit set, and now I've set it on my mat. And we've made our design. It was that easy. So I always tell people, there's so much you can do in the machine. There's so much editing, rotating, flipping. This was something easy, just a shape in the machine, and now all I have to do is now to add however many I want to cut out of all my pieces, and then I'll have all of them. So usually with this, I would assembly line. So I'm going to grab my fabric mat over here because this is fabric. I'm going to go ahead and cut out my felt while I prep the rest of my fabric because I am going to do something to this fabric. All right, so we're going to put it down on our mat. And I usually like to put it on my mat before I decide where all my pieces in the machine are, because then I know kind of the area that I have, because this felt wasn't big. It was a 9 by 12. So I have a little bit of area that I can't use. So let's go ahead, we're gonna load this. We're gonna assembly line this project. It's gonna be so fast. Now I'm not sure how many I can fit on here, so I'm gonna go to Edit, Object Edit, hit this plus sign right here, which allows me to add more. And I'm just going to pick a number. Let's start with 10. Now, Courtney, it lays them all out. What are you going to do? Well, we can hit OK, OK again, and then we can come to this tool right here, which is going to make sure that they're lined up very nicely for me, like this. Or if I'm like, you know what, I want them more uniform. Well, I have that option, like that. Or if you're like, yeah, let's try this one. It gives you multiple options, but you could always move them. Now again, I'm gonna hit OK, because I know this area right here is in no man's land. So I'm actually gonna change out the white that I just put on here with this green. So when I scan it in, you guys can see it well enough. I can see it, but on camera it might be hard to see. So I'm gonna switch it out to this green. It's the same size as that white. And we are gonna cut the white, but this is just for the example so you guys can see, and you're not like, Courtney, I don't know what that is. So now if I hit this button right here, it's our scanning, so we can scan and see what's on our mat in color on our screen. It's fantastic. I absolutely love this tool. And again, I'm gonna do it with the white, but for camera's sake, for you guys to be able to see, you're probably gonna be able to see better on the green. There you go. I love this tool. You guys don't understand. I use this all the time, so that way I can use up all my little bits. It's fantastic. Alrighty, now this scan is pretty light, but you could absolutely darken it by hitting this wrench icon and selecting the background of the darker one. Hit OK, and then it makes it darker. It's just a little hard to see, so that's why a lot of people lighten it. Now if I was to select one of the items, it would put a red box around it, but it is nice to be able to lighten that scan just to be able to see it a little bit better. All right, there it is. It is lightened up so I can see. And look at this. I knew I was right. I could not have that over there. So all I have to do is click it and move it because of that onboard editing. So good. All right, and again, this one could come right here. Ooh, that one looks like he's right on the edge. I don't know if that one's gonna make it. So I can see about moving these guys. And if you ever want to move with the mover tools, that's where they are. And you can kind of move them that way. Ugh, she's pretty close. And you could zoom in, and it allows you to zoom up to 400%. So I could be like, oh, it's like a hair in between those. I don't think I can move them any closer. All right, so this one might be a no-go, which is a-okay. Let's try to move it somewhere else. Let's see. All right, I don't think we'll be able to fit the 10th. Usually what I try to do is I'll rotate things and like change them different ways to see if I can possibly fit them. I don't think that's gonna work for this one. That's unfortunate. So I'm gonna go ahead and just delete that one out. All right, there she goes. So we're gonna go ahead and select OK. OK again, please select, and we wanna cut. And to be able to cut this felt today, I'm using my rotary blade. If you don't know already, this is my favorite blade. I absolutely love this because unlike the other blades where it's just a knife, this one actually, whoop, there it is, has a little bitty rotary blade. And it does so well on really finicky material like felt, wool, batting, anything like that. It does a great job. So we're gonna use this one today. All right, I have her locked in there. Everything looks great. Everything is loaded. Let's hit start. Now I saw a comment that someone put last week that were like, I love my rotary blade, but she takes a little bit longer. She does, because if you notice, she's gonna come and she's gonna cut here and then she's gonna hop. She doesn't just go around and cut like how we're used to with the other blades. Look, see, she started on that one and then she hopped somewhere else to cut somewhere else. And you're like, wait, where are you going? You're not done. Because she's thinking, where's the area that I can cut that's gonna give me the best cut, the crispest cut? And she's gonna hop and find those. And that's why her head's so big. She's constantly thinking. So, there you go. You would think she'd start up there and go. Nope. She has a plan. She has a method to the madness. Trust her. She's got this. But she does such a good job because it used to be a rule that if you could see through the material, don't put it in your ScanNCut. But now with the rotary blade, you can absolutely do that. So I absolutely love cutting out things like minky appliques. Are you kidding me? So good. So I can do that with my rotary blade. So that's kind of why she's my favorite blade. But if you were like, well, Courtney, I have the thin fabric blade, the tan one. I love cutting out my fabric with that. You can absolutely do that. The rotary blade came out after the thin fabric blade. So in my head, it kind of replaced it, but I do still use my thin fabric blade if I'm doing appliques or anything like that. But I know this rotary blade, even though she takes a little bit longer, she's gonna give me the most precise cut ever, even if the material is not super, thick and it has a very open nap to it, she's still gonna do a great job. So I just usually use her for a lot of things because I know it's perfect. Now she has two different settings, which are regular and fine. I've never had to use fine before. I've never had to. She's done good on regular. Again, she'll take a few seconds longer than your normal blade, but I don't mind waiting a few seconds longer for a really good cut. So I absolutely love this one. Now she does come in the box with the SDX 330. So if you have that model, that should have been the blade in there. That and the black auto blade. If you don't have that one, then you can buy it separately in the kit. So there's a Mickey Mouse version, a Disney version, and then there's a regular version that doesn't have Disney. The same blade's in there. It's just the difference between those two or what designs come free in the box with it. Are you done? Really? I was talking. She's like, no, we got things to do, Courtney. You're right, I should have been doing something, but that's okay because we have a lot of these we need to cut. Now, something with the rotary blade is the other blades will cut up to a 3mm thickness. Your rotary blade will do about a little over a 1mm. So whenever I usually take things off of it, I come to the corner and I check to see, did it go all the way through? And this one, it did go through a little bit, but there are areas where I feel like it didn't quite go through all the way. Now, yes, I could come through and pull those and it would be fine. But usually what I do is I just run it through one more time. There we go. I've never had to run it through more than twice. And again, I don't mind because, well, she's doing all the work. But also I just put it back in and hit start again. So let's hit OK. All right, please select. And since I haven't moved anything on my mat really, other than checking that corner, I just hit start again. So again, you might have to run it 1 or 2 times, and that's a-okay, because again, she's doing all the work. And if I had used my thin fabric blade, yeah, it would have cut it and it would have done the full 3mm thickness, because this is some thick felt. But I feel like the rotary blade does it better. It's like using scissors and an actually rotary blade. That's kind of how I, split them up in my head. And scissors, yes, it will cut it, but that rotary was something about that crisp cut that does so good. And again, it's not going to stretch or bend or change my felt in any kind of way. Because felt, when you pull it, sometimes it'll like distort a bit. That's a perfect word for it. Distort a bit. That rotary blade's not going to do that. She is going to do a fantastic job where you don't get any of that distortion. So I don't mind riding her second time. All right, now while she's doing that, and I should have done this earlier, but I was chatting. How could y'all let me do that? I'm going to go ahead and get my fabric ready. Now, for my fabric, what I was thinking is that we're going to cut them all of the same shape. And I'm just going to have stacks and stacks. I'm going to cut all this felt and just have huge stacks of it right here. And I'm also going to treat the back of this fabric with a Heat and Bond Ultra and then glue some of these, or we could sew them. I'm probably going to glue them on the inside of the white ones, a few of the white ones. We'll keep some blank as well. And then that way, when I make my wreath, I can scatter different ones in there. And it's different textures and stuff, because I could not find a felt that has like adorable candy canes on it or this really cool plaid on it. And I don't want to have to try to go find more felt. I'm just going to use the materials I have. But I am worried about a frayed edge of the fabric, so that's why I'm treating it with a Heat and Bond Ultra on the back of it, because that's going to keep from the fraying happening. All right, so of course, I'm going to bring up my wool mat. I love this wool mat. And then bring out my iron, of course. If you don't know, I do use the Oliso M3 Pro. It's the project iron. Love her. Now, usually I would want to have like multiple fabric mats, and I would just get them all ready and just have them ready to go. Let me turn my iron. But since I'm just doing this real quick, I'm just gonna keep putting them on there, getting them all cut out. All right, so my favorite part, if you watched the show before, is taking the things off the mat, but I take the outside parts off first. One, because I enjoy watching the part that's like cut out, and it's just neat. So I'm not very careful with the part that I'm taking off on the outside, because that's not the part I want, it's the inside part. So I feel like this part I can kind of just rip off of my mat and it's okay. Okay, so I'm just working my way around. Again, not being too gentle with it, because it's not the part I care about. It's the parts on the inside, which they already want to come off. I'm trying to be good and not take them off, but it's killing me on the inside. I realized I was pulling this off and I didn't even get to show you guys, so let me show you up close. All right, there we go. They're all on there. They're gorgeous. All right, and I'm going to take my spatula tool right here, and I'm going to get underneath these like this, and then we're going to wiggle, 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 wiggle to get it off of my mat. We don't want to pull, because pulling is going to give us fraying. So I don't want to just easily getting it off there. Now, some people don't like to put these fuzzy things on their fabric mats. They like contact paper on there, and then that way it gives it a little bit of a buffer. I don't mind cleaning it with Totally Awesome, so I know all that fuzziness is going to go away. And then look, okay, so this is one of like 100. So I'm going to quickly get these off of my mat in the same kind of way. So usually when I say I like to have multiple fabric mats to do this, it's because while I'm getting it off my mat, treating my fabric, she should be cutting out another one right now. So I'm gonna hurry up and get this off of my mat very quickly so I can get her going, and then I'm gonna figure out where my other fabric mats are, and I'm just gonna start assembly lining this and just adding to this pile of all these really cute little leaves. This is gonna be so good. I'm so excited. I always see these on like in the stores and stuff like that, but it's never the colors or the patterns or the designs that I particularly want. And so that's the great thing about ScanNCut, is now I can just make my own in whatever color pattern I want. It's great. And I'm one of those crazy people that have multiple Christmas trees. Every room is decorated, even the restroom. So this is right up my alley. All right, there we go. So we've got a stack of those, and I'm gonna go ahead, throw the excess away. We're gonna be organized today. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the next one on there. If you feel like you've lost a little bit of your stickiness and you're worried that the machine's just not, or the mat's not gonna hold it, then of course, clean your mat. That's totally fine. But I feel like I'll be okay on this, especially because the rotary blade is very, very gentle with the material. So you do get less movement and stuff like that. All right, there she goes. And I don't even need to change the design because I know that it's gonna fit on the same exact felt, and that's for the white as well. So all I have to do is hit OK, please select, cut, and hit start. And really, she's doing the hard work. So. And I think I have, let me see. Aha, I do. I have another fabric mat right here. So there we go. I'll just take this white, put it right here, like this. And now I've got the next one ready, and I'm just gonna keep switching them out, and it's just gonna assembly line them. It's so good. So a lot of people are like, Courtney, why do I need extra mats? Especially during the holiday season, I'm constantly making stuff, especially if I'm doing like a lot of applique, because I leave my applique pieces on the fabric mat until it's time to put them in my machine so I don't lose them. Not that that's a thing that happens a lot, but that might be a thing that happens a lot. So I like having extra fabric mats for that. And plus, if something happens to one or it gets gunky over time or something like that. All right, so while she's cutting out that, I'm gonna go ahead and prep this fabric. So I have some fabric right here. I have my iron plugged in right here. She's ready to go for me. You cannot see that. She is ready to go right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna treat the back of it with Heat and Bond Ultra, again, just to prevent the fraying. It doesn't have to be Heat and Bond Ultra. If there's something you prefer, like a Wonder Under, Steam Affix, something like that, you could absolutely do that. But I know that I have Heat and Bond Ultra right here. I'm just gonna use it. We know Courtney loves a good Heat and Bond Ultra. So again, I'm just gonna take the scrap fabric I have, there we go, and give her a little iron because scrap fabric is, oh, look at that, she's done, okay. I swear, this is how my projects go in real life. It's just constantly changing things out in the machine and assembly line them, and that's how I make tons of items, and it doesn't feel like it takes me that long because, again, I'm just assembly lining and getting everything done. So we're working together, okay? She can't say I'm not doing anything. All right, here we go. All right, so she's cutting out that white. Now I'm gonna hurry up and try to get this off the mat before she's done with that. I feel like I'm racing her. It's woman against machine. There we go. All right, so I think this is a 12-inch. I'm gonna use my mat as a ruler because there is a ruler on your mat. It's fantastic. And cut my fabric to size. There we go. Okay, and now I have a template. It's a 12 by 12, so I can cut the rest of this in 12 by 12. Ha ha ha. All right. Just want to iron this fabric really, really good before I put that Heat and Bond Ultra because I don't want to accidentally seal in a wrinkle on my fabric. Go. Ooh, I had some that was already pre-cut. That is way too small. Nope. So if you've never used a Heat and Bond Ultra, there's a like scratchy side like this, and then there's a smooth papery side. So the scratchy part is the side that you want to put to the wrong side of the fabric. This fabric doesn't really have a wrong side, but if it did, that's what I would want to make sure. So I'm going to put this fabric down on it like this. Okay, so now that we have it cut to the size that I want like this, I'm going to go ahead and just iron it down. So again, with that paper side down on the fabric. This is just going to give it a little bit of stiffness, and it's also going to allow me to be able to adhere it onto that felt. So it's perfect. Okay, there we go. If you want to flip it over and do it on the fabric side, you absolutely can. It's sad when you want your machine to go slower so you can keep up with it. All right, this fabric is ready, so I'm going to put her off to the side, and I can cut her out too. All right, so I've got that one, and I want to treat this fabric as well. Alright, there we go. I'm just assembly lining this, guys. When I tell you I'm just assembly lining this, just over here. I'm just assembly lining these things. Some of them stuck to here because they're felt. But, and honestly, since the mat's not as sticky anymore, I tell you, I'm just adding to the stacks here. That's what I'm doing, okay? Okay, I found another one. Wait. Okay. Oh wait, they fell off. They fell. There's the other two. Okay. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, I've got this one with white. Let me load this one. This is so fun. Now I'm like, man, I should do these in every color for every season and make different ones like pink and red and white for Valentine's Day. How pretty would that be for like a cute wreath? because there's nothing about this shape that screams Christmas. It's the colors and the things that we're gonna add to it. Like if I wanted to like do 2 of them and add 2 little red berries, that would be adorable. Or if I'm picking fabric to like put on the inside of them, I could pick fabric that have little Easter bunnies on it for Easter, or I could pick fabric that has flags on it for the 4th of July. I really could do a ton. Now this mat is getting a little grubby. It is a little grubby. I'm still putting things to it, but pretty soon I'm gonna want to clean this mat. But she's holding on. She's doing her best, and we appreciate that. So I'm gonna see how far I can get it to stretch before I need to clean. It's not, I have the cleaning supplies right now, but like, it's still holding on. Like, I'm just gonna keep doing it. And again, I have this fabric. I'm gonna cut the fabric last. I don't know why, in my brain it's telling me to cut them last, so I'm gonna cut them last. But I could cut them any other time, but I'm gonna cut them last, okay? All right, so I've got this little cute little candy cane fabric. I forgot what a candy cane was. I'm gonna treat one more. And I think, because I don't want all of the insides to be that. I want to leave some just plain white. So I think I'm only going to do a few. So I'm going to treat one more. Turn my iron back on. There we go. Now this iron does have where it can do steam. But there's something about these Nifty Notion spritzers that I want. I don't know, maybe it's just because I like going, but like there's something about it that I love. Yes, I know it has steam. Someone did say that. They were like, why does she use that? She has steam in there. I know, it's just satisfying to me, and for some weird reason, I love having it nearby. So I've been here for a few seconds, and the stack has gotten bigger. So I think this is the last one of the felt. So what I want to do is I'm going to put this one aside. I'll get it off the mat in a minute. I'm going to take this really dirty mat and I'm going to put my fabric down on it because I want to cut out my fabric. Now, I am putting fabric side down on a fabric mat because I don't want to put paper side down to this fabric mat. It would shred the paper. So that is why I'm putting fabric side down. Now, Courtney, I heard someone said to do it this way. That's cool. Everyone does it a little bit differently, but I'm more worried about that fabric than I am about that paper heat and bond being cut or anything. All right, so she is on there, and I could add a few more on the side because it would let me do that, so I might just go ahead and grab some more and just fill up this side right here because I have more area than I did on the felt. So let's go ahead and load her in. All right, I'm gonna go back, then I'm gonna hit edit, object edit, add. Let's do 3 more. Go. Oh, I feel like I could add one more. I feel like I could. Let's just try. All right, there we go. Let's hit OK. OK again. Okay again. Now, I did flip my fabric, but I'm not going to flip the design because it doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, it's going to look the same if it's this way or this way. So I don't need to, but if you had a directional design, you absolutely could. Now, like I said, I like to use my thin fabric blade when I am cutting out heat and bond line on the back of an item. Usually I'm using it for an applique. So I'm going to take my rotary blade out and switch it for that one and hit start. And it's so good. So a lot of people are like, wait, you can treat the fabric with heat and bond and then let the machine cut it out at the same time? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why? Save yourself the double work. Oh, okay. All right, there we go. Take this one off. Seriously, this is my favorite part. It's like Swiss cheese. Like, it's awesome. One of them is still attached. The paper is still attached there. All right. I should be careful. Like, are you kidding me? Like, come on. So the idea is, so it does have that heat and bond line. So technically I could just do like this and it could be its own, but I do like the idea of it being back with that felt. And that's why we put that heat and bond light on there. And then it would have that nice felt back on it. So, but I mean, technically, since it does have that, it does give it its own little structure, but we're going to iron it down to these and then make them so cute with the little insides. Like, I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Again, these mats have seen better days. And they are ready to clean, but it does make it very easy. And since we did put that heat and bond light, or no, I put a heat and bond ultra on the back of it, it gives it that stiffness, so it gives us a great cut, but then I won't get any of that fraying. And see how I'm just pulling them off? That paper backing gives it that solidness and that heat and bond ultra. So if I was to peel back that heat and bond ultra, see how it's like shiny? That's the glue. So we would put it to our felt, and then heat it up and it would stick to that. But it also gives it stability, so now I don't get any of that fraying. How nice is that? All right, so I'm gonna just take these off my mat. These are so good. And then all I have left to do is this fabric, and then all of them are done. It's so fast and so good. Like, I absolutely love this. That's why people are like, well, Courtney, if you want to do a bunch of something at once, like, oh, is it tedious doing it on the ScanNCut? No. I just filled the whole mat up. And this is just a 12 by 12 mat. So think if I had it on 12 by 24, I just have a ton of them done, and then I have all these little bits. And again, it's nice that I had 2 mats right here, just that way I could go back and forth and putting them on there. It's nice. All right, so I'm gonna put our last fabric down. There we go. Now, granted, again, this was scrap material, so I didn't have a big piece like how I had for this plaid. I could not remember what that fabric was called. So plaid, so I am gonna have to scan in, which is totally fine, built-in scanner. Scan in and then drop them and make sure that they are where the Heat and Bond Ultra is and not where it's not. Which, I mean, it wouldn't be terrible. It wouldn't be terrible. I had a paper cut just when you saw that. It wouldn't be terrible if it did catch a little bit. Like some of them, let's see where I found the little tip was, yeah, like this one. You saw how the little tip was outside of the Heat and Bond Ultra, so that's just regular fabric. That's fine. That'll just be the inside of my design. And it's still cut beautifully where there's not like a ton of fraying. And you wouldn't be like, oh, that's not back. It's just a bit of it. So if I didn't accidentally get that area, it's fine. But since I know I can just easily scan it in, well, I'm just going to easily scan it in. It takes 2 seconds. It's fantastic. I don't have to like take a picture of my phone and send it over a thing and have a registration mark. No. Built in. All right, so there we go. I'm going to go back one. Use that scan in tool right there. Hit OK. All right, there it is. How good. So now I can just move them where I think they would do best. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, perfect. Let's hit OK. OK again. OK again. Please select, and we want to cut. How crazy is that? Sure. Alrighty. I've got all of my pieces. Start collecting them so I don't lose them. I got all my white pieces, which I have more of those than the green because those are going to be backed with some of that fabric. Alright, here we go. Alright, all my pieces are here, so I'm going to cover as many of the white ones that I can in this plaid and then in that red because again it pops and I can get more of this white super easily. And I think these are the fun ones. Alright, so we're going to take off that paper backing off of the back of these. Look at that! Okay, also this is just like a piece of paper now. But it's perfectly cut. Alright, there we go. So we see that shiny side. So we're going to take one of our perfectly cut little felt pieces in white. You could do it to the green one if you really wanted to, because you can't see like through it. Oh, she's over here done. Give me a second. So you could do it to a green one. You really wouldn't be able to tell. I just, for some reason, the white, in my head, the white makes sense on the back. What would you do? Would you have these be the green or the red? I'm kind of liking the idea of them on the green now. Oh no, I kind of like them on the green. Maybe we'll do some of each. Yeah, maybe that's the plan. All right, so it's on there. Here we go. We're gonna line it up, and since we cut it out with ScanNCut, they perfectly match up. All right, and we're just gonna heat it down. Now, since that felt is, of course, a fabric, a material, that Heat and Bond Ultra really wants to stick down to it. And now you could use a Heat and Bond Light. That's more of a temporary hold. And I think for what this is, it would be fine because it's not like we're washing this. It's just, you know, just for right now. So there we go. But I like the idea that this could be used year after year and be totally fine. So I would just go boop. How cute is that? How fast is that to make a petal, right? It's so good. Okay, we're taking off paper backing. Y'all, I'm having so much fun. This is kind of my jam. Doing just fun crafts and doing like this and creating things. Like, oh, this is my favorite. All right, so here we go. We took off the paper backing and I can just set that down on there. It perfectly lines up gorgeously like that. Heat it down. Oh, the candy canes are cute. The candy cane is cute, which this is, of course, the stuff that it cut out of, but the candy cane just on itself. Now it looks really dark. It was actually that color, and once it cools down, it'll turn that bright red color again. It's just something about heating up red fabric like that. It wants to go super dark, but again, it just all that brightens up after it cools down. So watch, we'll put it right over here so you can watch it in real time as I do the rest of them. It's so good. Now, if you didn't want to do this in felt, and again, you just wanted to keep that paper backing on it, you absolutely could. I just like the look of the felt. I think it just looks really, really nice. It gives it a cool little aesthetic. And it looks like we've bought felt that was like colored, you know? And it takes 2 seconds for it to iron on there, and then it's ready. I mean, it's adhered. It's not coming off. Here we go. We're going to keep stacking them. I mean, now you notice it's starting to get lighter. This is the one we just did, and it's already getting lighter. So do not worry if you're doing red. It's going to lighten itself up. All right, let's do another one. So again, if I had more to cut out, there we go. If I had more to cut out, I could just have them cutting out right now. So say if I just wanted plain colors of the felt, then I could have them cutting out. So I really should have done the fabric first, and on hindsight, I should have done a few felt pieces and then cut out the fabric, so I could have been doing this while she was cutting, but I got really excited. I couldn't help myself here, people. Could not help myself. All right, here we go. I'm just ripping these off of the mat because, again, it's treated on the back, so it's sturdy. So I don't really have to worry about that fraying very much. I am just being haphazard, as they say. A little haphazard. I'm very excited about this. So let me know in the comments, have you started any of your Christmas projects? Are you ahead of the game? Or are you still panicking? So I know it feels early, but I feel like when we get down to it, it's not going to be early. And then we're going to be like, man, why didn't I start back in July? Especially if you're giving like a lot of gifts that are similar ones that you're making the same, then it's good just to go ahead and start ahead. So I absolutely love this. But again, stocking stuffer gifts, decor, like this isn't technically, I mean, you could gift this. I know a few people that would actually love this. But decor bits like this, like I don't want to start this in December because I want them to already be up and, you know, ready for me to decorate with. So making something like this ahead of time would be fantastic. There we go. And again, it's so easy. There's no sewing. It was just our machine cutting for us and us ironing. Like it was that cutting and us ironing. That's the whole project. There was no sewing machine. Now, if you wanted to, you could sew a line through the center of the leaf to give it this like, you know, to make it look like an actual leaf. And I almost thought about doing that with a metallic King Star thread. You know I was going to say King Star thread. It's Christmas. I'm going to use a metallic King Star thread that needs to go on a shirt. But if you wanted to do that, that would be cute. And you could just sew the line. You could even elongate your stitches so it looks like the vine part of it. And then, so you could just do one down the center, or you could do like the lines coming to the side like a leaf would do. That would be really precious. Oh, one last one of the candy cane. Ooh, I pulled that off. I pulled the paper off without getting that. There we go. But, you could do that. That would look really nice. There's kind of like sky's the limit on all the really cool things you could do with it. I think there's so many fun options. There we go. Last one of the candy cane. There we go. The plaid. You do like this to her. There we go. One of the plaid. So I'm going to finish out the plaid on the green. And I have a bunch of white ones still. Because I want a pretty big wreath. I haven't decided if I'm making a wreath or a garland. I keep going back and forth on it. I'm not sure. I'm kind of hoping I have enough for both, or like a matching one. I think a wreath would be cute. But a garland would be cute. Maybe I'll show you guys both. Maybe we'll try to do both. We'll see how much we have, because if I want a big wreath, I need a lot of these. And this was very inexpensive. Again, this was just some fabric that I had already lying around. But if you didn't have the fabric already, which, you know, all of us don't have a ton of fabric, right, guys? Don't look in that closet. If you didn't have a lot of fabric, then I know, like AllBrands, we have all of our Christmas fabric right now. And you could come in and just get some fabric. You know, not crazily priced. The felt's inexpensive, so it's a low-cost item that you could use. Or if you just had some fabric like I did, where it was beautiful, wonderful Christmas fabric, and I just could not figure out what I wanted to make out of it, and then this was perfect. This was great. I get to use it up. I don't need a lot because, again, scrap pieces of fabric. So say you made something with some fabric and you had a little bit left over, and it just kills you to think about throwing it away. I mean, or just getting rid of it, like, I could make stuff out of this. Then this is a great, great alternative to that. I love it because I feel like this is very much my color scheme for my Christmas decoration, because yes, I have a color scheme. You know, Courtney loves a good theme. All right, we're so close to the end here. Here we go. It's a very quick project. I mean, it was a lot of pieces that we had to cut out. And again, I could have done it on a 12 by 20 format and been done way faster, but so good. And again, that rotary blade, love that rotary blade. She comes in very handy. We love her to pieces. And again, I've linked her kit. So if you don't have the 330, it did not come in the box with it. So you would have to buy it separately in a kit. And I have that kit linked. Again, there's two different ones. One with Disney designs that come with it, and one that does not have Disney designs come with it. And it comes with other designs that are actually really cute. So those kits are linked down below, and that can fit on any of your SDX models. So make sure you check out that kit. She's really, really good, and I highly recommend it. Again, felt wool. It's fantastic. All right, there we go. So now I've got all, they're so cute. That is so cute. I love these. Okay, so I've got them all. I have a lot of white. I've got them all, and what I usually would like to do is take them and again, pinch the bottoms like this, and then start putting them together. Now, if you're making a wreath, you want to do on a wreath form, I usually like to pinch two of them together and then make sets of two, so like hot glue them together like this, and then make that, and then take those two over to the wreath form, going around the wreath form. If you wanted to make a garland, it's super easy. Again, it's nice to do the two together, and you could do two of the same, or if you wanted to mix it up and be like, okay, I want two different colors, and I'm making these little sets, so that way I know I'm not getting two of the same ones right next to each other, so like not two of the candy cane or something like that. You could do that and then mix and match those, and that would be really fun. That's usually what I do. But whenever you do the garland, so say we hot glue these two like this, boop, 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 make them open, very cute, and then take the next ones. So I'm gonna say these two guys right here. So say I had those two guys, and then I wanted to do like this one with this red one, or a little candy cane guy. So again, I'm just folding it in half like this, and then pinching the bottom like that. There we go. And so if I had these two guys, then I would just glue them like this, so they nestle each other, and then that way I keep adding on if you want to do garland. If you want to glue it down to a piece of string and you feel like that's better, you absolutely could do that. I usually just glue in between right here, so I would glue there, and then I would put this one in between there and nestle them, and then that way I would put my next one nestled in between here, and it would just make the garland bigger and bigger, and it works out fantastic. And then it's just one solid piece that wants to go. It's so cute. I love this. So that, you could absolutely do that. Or again, the wreath is really easy. They sell like foam wreaths at like the Dollar Tree, that you could absolutely do that. Or if you just wanted to take a piece of cardboard and like cut a circle and then glue them on there, no one's gonna see the back of your wreath. It's 100% up to you. A wire wreath hanger, it's really up to you, whichever you prefer. Well, I hope this inspired you to do some Christmas in July projects. If you have, make sure that you post them on our Brother ScanNCut with AllBrands After Hours Facebook group, because I do check that group. So make sure you post them there, so that way I can see them. Guys, don't forget that the Brother ScanNCut and tons of other items are available on our website. I link everything down below. You guys, we truly appreciate when you guys buy your ScanNCuts with us because of course we're giving you the free education. So we appreciate when you buy your ScanNCut and your accessories with us. So thank you to everyone that has purchased through us. We truly appreciate it. And if you're watching, this means I just finished the last date of the AllBrands Lunch and Learn tour, and I know I've had a blast because I've had a blast so far. Thank you to everyone that came out to hang out with us. We had a blast, I'm sure. I'm halfway through the tour. Today, when you're watching this, would be the last day of the tour. So thank you to everyone again for showing up and just having a blast with us. If you haven't already, there are very limited spots of AllBrands Academy Baton Rouge. And I'm hoping by the time of me saying this, we haven't completely sold out, but last time I looked, we were very close to selling out. So if you want to come to AllBrands Academy Baton Rouge, make sure you're signed up because that is hands-on classes with me and some other really cool educators and this fun event that we love doing where we do raffles and giveaways, and it's just a lot of fun. So make sure you're signing up for that. If you are near Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that Academy event is coming up very quickly. I'm trying to think if there's anything else coming up. Everything's happening so fast. Mini Makers is right around the corner. We're already gearing up for Houston Quilt Festival. Houston Quilt Festival this year is at the beginning of October. So if you guys have ever come to Houston Quilt Festival before, you know it's usually at the end of October, but they moved it this year and it's at the beginning of October. So make sure you plan your trip accordingly and come say hi. Houston Quilt Festival is a blast. So make sure you are coming to that one and come say hi to me in person. And Angela Wolf. We're going to have Angela Wolf, Jerry Granata, Cindy Hogan, Alexis Galloway, so many cool people at Houston Quilt Festival. So make sure you stop by the Brother booth that's hosted by AllBrands. And of course, AllBrands does also host a few other people, like Dime. We love the Dime hoops, and you know I love a magnetic hoop. We're also gonna have Reliable there. We're gonna have So Steady there, and tons more. So make sure you guys are coming out to Houston Quilt Festival. All right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's the easiest way to let us know that you guys want more of these videos. Y'all have a good night. Bye, y'all. My name is Courtney Douthat. This is AllBrands After Hours. Let's do this. Do something. I don't know. We're doing something. Oh, and you're done. I was plugging in my iron. Give me a minute. If you're a felt maker, you made this felt, why do you guys put stickers on these things? I'm peeling off all the stickers and it drives me crazy. Why? There wasn't another way we could label this? No? Okay. Well, I feel like I should speed this part up because you're just gonna be watching me be like, all right, and hit start, because that's all she needs me here for. That's really it. She's like, yeah, I got it, Courtney, I got it. You're like, you're good. You can go do something else. She's like, you don't have a Christmas tree to decorate? Like, go do something. Honestly, it's so nice to get ahead on those teacher gifts because teacher appreciation comes before we know it. Valentine's Day, like, teachers have to put up with their kids, okay? We love them, give them whatever they want. That's my motto, at least. Well, I hope this inspired you to do some Christmas in July products. I've had a fun blast. I've had a fun blast. Merry Christmas in July.